So we're trying to round point Conception tonight. We're just looking at the weather here, and we're currently up here where my cursor is, and we're trying to round the point. And then we'll either stop here in Cojo, Anchorage, or Cojo, or come down to Santa Rosa Island or Santa Cruz Island in the Channel Islands. So right now it's 4 or 5 p.m. Pretty windy over at the point. Model says 20 knots, so it's probably 30 knots. This buoy has gusts to 25 knots. And it's probably windier over here. But that's right now. Calms down during the night. And then by the morning, we're all the way down to basically nothing. And then just around the point, maybe 10 to 20 knots. Our timing will probably put us at the point about 7 a.m. if we leave at midnight. And the only thing we need to watch for is this reversal. So there's a little bit of a wind reversal. But I think our plan is to just come offshore after we hit the point. And then just kind of go make a beeline to Santa Rosa. And that way we'll avoid that reversal entirely. And then later in the afternoon, we should have either calm conditions or good sailing conditions. So yeah, I think the plan is to leave at midnight tonight, or around then, maybe 11. And then we'll be in SoCal for good. Well, not for good, but for a while. Why are you making banana bread?
It's pre-passage banana bread. It's my first time baking in the oven.
Looks so good.
Yeah, we'll see. It was done like 15 minutes faster than it was supposed to be, so our oven might be a little hot, or I just wanted to be ready.
Our final gift from the Central Coast was a watercolor sunset as we made our final preparations to depart in the night. How's the saying go again? Red sky at night, sailor's delight? Unfortunately, along with the dazzling colors of the evening sky came the fog, and at the last minute we decided to postpone our departure until morning.
Hey Brian, what time is it?
It's 5:30.
What are we doing?
Lying in bed, being gassy.
What else are we doing?
We're gonna go sailing. It's not always easy getting motivated to leave a place, but it was either now or wait another week for good weather. Time for a little blue ski. Katie approves.
Yep.
It's like WD-40, but you can drink it. I'm just about ready to go. It's still really dark out. There's one light over there. I think that's a fishing boat. Just kind of waiting for the sun to light up our fog. And we're glad we waited for the morning, as dodging all these unlit boats in the dark wouldn't have been very fun. We left the Anchorage about 6:45. It was foggy when we left. It's foggy now. We should be rounding Point Conception around 1 p.m., maybe 2. And then after that, we're going to head to Cojo or Cojo. And if we get there before the sunset, we'll probably anchor there. Otherwise, we might push on in the dark across the channel to Santa Cruz Island. But that's not presently the plan. Conditions are, other than the fog, I mean, they're fine. We are motor sailing because it's only 5 knots of wind. and the sea has a very long period, so even if there is 5 or 6 or 7 foot waves, we don't really feel them with how long the period is, so it's pretty nice. Other than the fog, the conditions were pleasant. And slowly, but surely, the sun did its work, and the fog began to clear. The lack of wind made for magically glassy conditions that Lucha pushed through, marking her presence only momentarily. As for the crew, our presence was barely noticeable. We didn't have much to do. While I perused the articles of Latitude 38, Katie took to the deck to nap. It's not her fault. She's experimenting with a less drowsy form of Dramamine, the key word here being less. Conditions for the Channel Islands were not looking good for the next few days, with strong northwesterlies forecasted. So we decided we'd stick with stopping at Cojo before sunset and wait it out. Well, we're at Point Conception, and boy is it a doozy.
Don't say that. It's too early to say that.
That's true. No, we picked a good weather window, but unfortunately it means we haven't really had any wind to sail with. We were motor sailing for a long time, and now we're just motoring. So it's nice that the sun's out, nice that we can see things. Katie's mostly slept.
Yep.
See, it doesn't seem that far. We can see the point. That's Point Conception right there. And we just got to get around that corner, and then we can anchor. But it's 3 hours away somehow. Sailboats.
Sailboats.
We did eventually get a good quartering wind from astern as we passed the rocket launch sites of Vandenberg to port. So, out came the jib, but we doused the main. We only had an hour or so left to Cojo, and it didn't make a lot of sense to rig up a wing and wing configuration. Our Conception crossing was just about perfect, and the sun was warm. Our fingers are crossed that these are signs of things to come as we push Lucha further south. We made it to Cojo and through the kelp beds just as the sun was setting. We picked a spot as close to the beach as we felt comfortable, and dropped the hook before settling in for the night, saving the exploring for the next day. Alright, well, Katie's outside putting on our sail cover from last night. I'm down below cooking us some breakfast. On the menu today, we have a lovely leftover breakfast burrito filling and some french fries. And I think we also have some guac from the other night. I think I'll just merge all these things into a couple of breakfast burritos. Yummy.
Thanks, Amy.
It's so random, but there's a tug bringing 2 F9 boosters into our anchorage right now. There's a very good chance I worked on missions that those boosters flew. So strange. I wonder if he's gonna park here. Looks like that barge tried to deliver some rocket boosters to Vandy and was denied, so they came to hang out with us right here. That's where we are. That's where the Vandy Space Force port is. Cojo is a beautiful anchorage with striking white cliffs. It is often used for northbound boats to wait for ideal weather to round the point, and I guess sometimes for rocket barges to do the same. It is also a world-class surf spot accessible only by boat, as the land here is all privately owned. And it certainly would have been good surfing had it not been blowing 20 knots by 10 a.m.
Sometimes those people can drive you to do crazy things to show.
Alright, you want to tell me what you're mulling over?
Looking at the weather, because it's way windier here than we were hoping it was going to be. So it's been blowing 20 knots consistently for the last hour or two and kind of all day. And then tomorrow, there's kind of a big wind thing coming for all of the channel. So we can't really make any passages to the islands tomorrow if we don't want to be in 30 knots of wind. And it might be really windy here, and I'm trying to figure out whether we, this is a lot of orange on the screen. Trying to figure out if we should hop over to Santa Barbara tonight and might have slightly better conditions there tomorrow, or if we should just endure it here. We could probably do. The anchor is good. We have lots of chain. Then we could wait till Thursday morning and things kind of settle down, potentially for us to leave here Thursday morning and just go straight to the islands. It's not the Anchorage I hoped it would be. Katie made us some awesome dinner.
Some honey nut squash and some wild rice.
This will be a nice little dinner because I think we're going to have to leave the Anchorage tonight around midnight so we can kind of escape some incoming wind. And we're going to go, I think, just hug the coast down to Santa Barbara, which is about 7 hours down the coast. And I think we'll have reasonable winds as long as we stay close to the coast. It is pretty windy out there, supposedly. It's been windy here all day, and it's only now just kind of calmed down, so I think hopefully when we pull the anchor up, it won't be that bad.
Just typical 1:30 a.m. things.
Leaving an anchorage in the middle of the night is never a lot of fun. We followed our GPS track in to navigate safely around the kelp beds, but very shortly after we came within a boat's length of a very large, unlit ship mooring, marked only to us by the sound of startled sea lions hopping off of it in the darkness. Freaked out a bit, I had Katie go to the bow with a bright light to keep an eye out for anything else that we might not see on our charts. And I went down below to turn on our radar and fiddle with the settings to ensure it would be sensitive enough to highlight any similar objects that might be ahead of us. Well, we are on our way to Santa Barbara. We picked up the anchor around 2 a.m. We haven't put any sails up yet because when we left there wasn't any wind. And we also know that ahead of us there's a really gusty spot where there's a canyon on shore and we're pretty close to shore. So we're just going to kind of wait until we pass that point, and then we'll probably put some sail up after that. The hop over to Santa Barbara is straightforward enough. There's one spot where the wind can really funnel down and blow offshore, but it is otherwise a nice, easy passage. We were a little bummed we didn't get to experience the Cojo that so many people before us had raved about, but we felt like we made the right choice in leaving. At the same time, we were excited to be out in the morning twilight, sailing on our boat, and knowing we might be going somewhere where the wind wouldn't be howling through the rigging. Although we did see 27 knots in the windy spot noted in the forecast, it was dead calm by morning, and Lucha was barely ghosting along. And just as a Falcon 9 rocket, identical to the ones that were just in our anchorage, took to the sky, the wind completely vanished and the sails flopped helplessly. It's a rocket right there. Look at her go. Look at our sails do nothing. It would have been really cool to see this launch from Cojo, as it's mere miles from the launch site. With the wind gone, it was engine on once again, and we pushed towards the morning sun. If conditions at Santa Barbara were anything like this, we were hopeful we'd be arriving in a calm Anchorage. We dropped anchor in the seasonal anchorage just off the wharf. We tidied up the deck and sails before going down below to catch up on the sleep we missed leaving in the middle of the night. We had what we thought was the perfect anchorage, but just as we settled in to cook some dinner,
we had to move. And we had a really nice little spot on the harbor master.
we had it all to ourselves.
We had it all to ourselves, which I guess probably should have been suspicious.
A little rolly here.
But yeah, the harbor master, who we had seen several times throughout the day, driving by on his boat while we were out on deck, came by like 30 minutes.
Right after sunset.
30 minutes before it got totally dark, and told us we had to move. And so we did. We had to basically just motor across the mooring field and then find a spot totally on the other side of the anchorage. And it's very rolly here.
We were just commenting about how all the reports about this anchorage were overblown, that it wasn't really that rolly. And it's because, well, actually, I don't know. They might have been talking about that anchorage too. But this one, which is another like mile down the coast and way less protected, is way more rolly. And we have a flopper stopper out too, and it's still pretty rolly. So it'll be interesting to see how the night goes. Our information had said this anchorage would be open through October, but apparently they were planning on doing some work and kicked everyone out early. It's not that big of a deal, we just sort of wish they had informed us at a more convenient time. The new anchorage was much more busy, with a mix of both long-term boats and people like us just passing through. It was also rolly, especially when the wind died down at night. So we had our flopper stopper boomed out, an item we first laughed at when we found it in the depths of our boat, but have since learned to cherish. Santa Barbara wasn't part of the plan, but plans always change when you're living on a boat. And, despite being a bustling city, the dramatic mountains and white beaches make for a rather beautiful backdrop to wake up to every morning. Our plan is to stay here for a few days to explore our new surroundings, whilst learning how to land and launch our dinghy on a beach with surf. Then, we will at long last set sail for the Channel Islands to explore everything they have to offer, including their underwater delicacies.
Wasn't sure if they were going to have anything in them.
But that's next time. If you liked this adventure, let us know by giving us a like or by leaving a comment below. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to follow along.